Salute, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back over here to the Black Ocean. You're now swimming in the deep end with your host, the one and only Great Black Shark. I hope everybody has been enjoying their weekend so far. Welcome to everybody that I see over here joining us. I had to bring this to you all's attention because I don't know if you know it or not, but it won't surprise you. Our good brother Rizza Islam, this is his third YouTube channel now that we're going to review this discussion that he had or interview with the comedian, the trans comedian, the brother Flame Monroe. It is going to be a very, very interesting conversation. And there's some things I want to point out about it like we always do over here, because everything that we review over here on this channel, we made sure to teach a lesson along with it. So what I want you all to do is to subscribe to that brother's new channel, man. You know, hey, that's the thing. When you really out here telling the truth, that they don't want people to hear, they're gonna always knock you off these social media platforms. White supremacists on social media platforms, just call it what it is. But that brother does very good work. Okay, whether you agree or disagree with everything he says, you're not supposed to agree with everything anybody says, or whether you're not a Muslim or not. The brother is very, very intelligent. He does outstanding work. Upstanding young man. Very proud of what that brother has done in the community and on the ground for a number of years now, going on over 15 years, if I'm not mistaken. But I wanted to bring this to you all here tonight. And as you see, as I direct your attention to the screen here, whenever possible, we should always seek understanding from our own people with civil discourse. Okay. So now the lesson that we're going to be delving into here tonight as we analyze this conversation is, as long as nobody's cooning, nobody's done anything to outright harm the community or is doing anything vile to Black people, if we do have differences of opinion or different ideologies, there should always be at least the attempt made to have civil discourse. So at the end of the day, this is why that's important, because a lot of people misconstrue what having conversations amongst our people is about. Because bear with me, this is a part of being on code and getting on code and strengthening the ability to be on code once we get there. If you disagree with somebody's ideology or whatever the case may be, and there's an opportunity to have a civil discourse with that person, it doesn't mean that one or the other of you is going to come around to that way of thinking. It just means that you say, okay, let me sit down face to face with this person, talk to them like they got some sense. They talk to me like they got some sense. And we at least reach an understanding. You see what I'm saying? See, a lot of times that's what's missing amongst a lot of our people in our tribe, foundational Black Americans. So when you understand your brothers and sisters, doesn't mean you're going to always agree with them, but you'll say, okay, at least now this makes sense to me. I get it. Okay. So that's what we're going to be focusing on here tonight. But before we dive into this, as usual, let me go ahead and greet my good audience over here. I see my brother CRU Ray out in the building. Good brother Torian Rand Reloaded in the house. I see Terrell Bembry. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. To Stay Woke. I see you. My moderator, Patricia Jenkins. V Mosby. Hey, V Mosby with them legs, man. Hey, y'all go over there and click. Y'all will see that's a very cute sister. I got to brag on you. Sister Devin Haley, I see you in the building. Lee Holmes, what's happening, good brother? Okay, I see Sonia Ferguson. She's joining us. All right. I see PGH. Okay, PGH Big Dog. Okay, I didn't know what that was for a minute. Rakeem Johnson, salute to you. And only Pamela's Way just clocked in here. Salute to you and everybody else that'll be joining us here tonight. So family, I think this is going to be a very enlightening discussion. It's probably going to enlighten a lot of you on many things that those of you who are not in the LGBTQ community wouldn't have understood before, because this is very important. And we have to keep in mind that our brothers and sisters over there in the LGBTQ community, yes, we've seen the pattern of most of them, but we can't put everybody in the same boat. I'm going to tell you right now, from what I've seen, the brother comedian Flame Monroe has been on code with a lot of things. Now, there'll be things that you don't agree with him. That's cool. But as far as like him staying on code with his people, I got to give him credit for that. So this conversation right here is going to shine a lot of light on a lot of things. It's probably going to answer some questions that many of you have had about certain things. So I hope this will help a lot of people as we review this here tonight. Let's get started.
Chappelle gave his friend, his friend who was white and transgender, who wanted to be a comedian, an opportunity to open for him. Dave Chappelle is one of the greatest to do it of our time right now. That was a huge opportunity for her. The LGBT community never reached out to give her any opportunity like that. But then they turned and said that he was transphobic, he was homophobic, all the backlash that he received from 2 or 3 episodes ago from specials. And she stood with her friend, the transgender woman, and stood against Dave to say, no, he's not like that. And the LGBTQIA plus community bashed this woman so bad that she jumped off a building and killed herself. Dave was not responsible for that. So who is? But Minister Farrakhan, let me tell you something. I listen to his teachings. Now, I'll never be a Muslim. They would never accept me with my presentation, my lifestyle. Understand? But I listen to his teachings because what I respect about Minister Louis Farrakhan, he don't teach me how to be black. I don't need nobody to teach me how to be black. But he reminds me that I'm a black person in this country. And when I tell you I listen to his teachings, I believe that player is on it. They always try to say he spews hate, and he spews love for women. He spews love for family. He spews love for who you are. You have to embrace who you are. Teddy Pendergrass said it the best. You can't hide from yourself. Everywhere you go, there you are.
That's right.
My community, the LGBT community, pretty much has kicked me out because I don't speak the language that they want me to speak. I created my own pronoun, and I want you guys to say it with me because I want to teach y'all some shit tonight. My preferred pronoun is he, she, we. He, she, we. He, she, we. There is a definition that means he cash a check, she make the money, we spend it. Same bitch said it, same nigga is it. He, she, we. You see that? He, she, we. Yeah. Because people always say, Flame, how you identify? Bitch, I identify if the check clear.
Peace, family, brother. Rizza Islam here with another episode of the Intellectual Extremist Podcast. That is not a podcast. I know it has been a long time coming. Your brother has been in the middle of a lot of things. Life hits everybody. Okay, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, life is life for everybody. But I'm very happy right now. I'm very happy because during this entire circumstance that we're looking at in the world, there are not enough voices speaking the truth in these heavily politicized arenas. So one of these circumstances happens to be the gender circumstance and LGBT issues and all these other different topics just affecting humanity. So I said, I don't know who else to bring on really other than this individual here who is one of the most unique, dynamic, stands on truth regardless to whom or what, and is just unapologetic about speaking the truth. So without further ado, Flame Monroe.
Hey. Hello, Rizza. How are you? Ooh.
I'm good. Come on, y'all. Clap.
Audience.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm just honored to have you here.
I appreciate you having me here. I think that the optics of this will speak volumes, and hopefully we will reach and help a whole lot of other people who don't understand.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think it's fear. I think it's misunderstanding.
Absolutely. I mean, as I was saying earlier, life hits us all. So one thing we really have to understand is just because life didn't hit you the way it's hitting me, don't mean I'm not getting hit. So I want to start this off by saying, we're going to go into the hard questions because anyone who knows Flame, you don't run from anything.
Well,
so, at least to my knowledge,
I'm not. There is no reason for me to be afraid. Acceptance is a blueprint that starts with you.
Absolutely.
I've accepted everything about me, and if you don't, you probably don't need to be in my life anyway.
Absolutely. So first off, how do you receive being addressed? What is it that you would like to be addressed as?
Well, I've chose my own pronoun since my community has kind of parted ways with me. So my pronoun is he, she, we.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But he cash the check, she make the money, we spend it. You see all that inclusion?
Okay, I got you.
I ain't missed nothing. That's inclusion.
Okay.
So I'm so comfortable with who I am because I have male friends and female friends that sometimes they'll say she, or some of my male friends will say he, even when I'm in drag. I'm not offended by that because I know who I am. I know what I am. I have children. So a name is not going to change me. Plus, if you say it nasty, what you say to me has no bearing on what I say back to you.
That's a fact.
Because this mouth is cocked and loaded.
Right. That's a fact. Okay. So you said he, she, we. So so does that switch? So at times you identify as a man and a woman,
I'm always trans.
You always trans.
I always identify as trans experience.
Gotcha.
Even though I take my makeup and clothes off, that don't take away who I am on the inside. But I am a father to 3 children. I have 3 children.
Wow.
I can't hide some things, but I can cover them up to protect my children's from other people saying horrible things, because I can take it. I don't want to put my life on my children, even though we've had those issues, but they've all been trained by me.
There you go. And I was going to ask you about that. How is that experience for your children? Because again, like you said, you can take it. We can handle certain issues. We can handle certain backlash and fire. But when it comes to family, friends, children, et cetera, how is that?
Well, the responsibility of parents is to teach their children.
Yes.
You know,
say that again.
This is why we have so much controversy in the world right now of what this kid can do, what that kid. Who's in charge? I'm in charge in my home. Even when it doesn't look like it, I'll get angry. If my voice to get deep, I pull his wig off and I'm going after him. But somebody needs to be in charge. And the problem with these new generation, this younger generation, they're in charge. They run everything, because the mistake was, as a parent of my demographic, 50 plus, we wanted our children to have everything that we didn't have. Biggest mistake ever. We spoil them. They're entitled. They're ridiculous. They're out of control. And they have no work. A lot of them, not all, have no work ethic. They want everything given to them. Everything must be, you don't want to work for it.
This is true.
I mean, I teach my children, you got to work for it. This is my money. And the
Absolutely.
words of Diana Ross, she told her kids, this is my money. You got to go make your own money, but this is my money. And I tell my kids, this is my money.
No, that's true.
But they respect me, and their friends respect me. And this is all they ever knew. I didn't transition after they were here. They were conceived. I was like this.
Wow. See, this is why I'm so happy you're here, because these are the kinds of conversations that need to be had in true honesty, without emotions. It's like, no, I just really want to know, because as you were saying, you said, look, we are both black people. Okay. So first of all, that is the number one fight that we've had long before any other fight.
Right.
Okay. And then everything else falls after that. When it comes to you having children, and you said the parent is the one who gives the direction, who teaches the children.
Of course.
Nowadays, the United States government says no. The parent is wrong. The child is the one who says, I feel this way and this is what I am. What do you have to say about that?
That's what we're facing now with the whole Bill 43, with canceling the drag shows. And to be very clear, make all the clarity, I support drag shows 100%, because there was a time in my life where all I did was drag shows to feed my family and to take care of myself. Now, the irresponsibility part comes on the parents, because when I was younger, we only worked in clubs, so you couldn't be a kid.
Right.
These new brunch thing with the restaurants and during the daytime, it is the parents' responsibility to say, I'm not taking my child to see this, or I'm going to explain to my child before we get here exactly what they're going to see. But they don't want to take the responsibility of it. They want to blame the artist. I don't know what I'm coming out to. All I know is I hear my name called, I'm coming to the stage. I don't know what's in the audience. It's also not the responsibility of the club owner, because they should say at the door, this is an adult-themed restaurant show. If you don't want your kid exposed to this, then you have an option of saying no or yes. The responsibility of the performer when it comes to drag performance came when they started doing that drag queen story time.
Yes, absolutely.
Here's where the artists, I hold them accountable. Because if you're reading to me, and I'm a 4 or 5 year old kid, and you're reading Little Red Riding Hood to me, if you dressed up like Mrs. Doubtfire or librarian or a character, it's safe.
Right.
But if you're sitting there with your ass out and your boobs, and I'm trying to listen to Little Red Riding Hoods, I'm not, because I'm fascinated at what the hell I'm looking at. That is when the artist has to say, no, these are somebody's kids. But when you don't have children, children's feelings are not important to you. Let me say that one more time for people who don't have kids.
Wow.
When you don't have your own kids that came through your loins, because I know you can adopt kids and love them, but if you ain't looking at your own eyes, looking back at you, there's a different level of love.
That is critical.
So the artist needs to be responsible and say, I'm not going to do this in front of these kids. Dress like a Mormon, the wig up here and the dress down to the ankles and showing no top. Because it's, it's just safe. I'm transgender. I do my kids know about everything. And I wouldn't allow my kids to see that at that age.
And they are.
So now I want to pause it right there, and I got to take this time. When I first saw this, okay, I got to give Flame his props on this. I give credit to him or any other person in the LGBTQ community that draws that line and say, hey, man, wait a minute. Kids, come on, man. That's not, they are not old enough or mature enough to be handling this. And then again, okay, if you really do care, especially for we're addressing the black LGBTQ community. Let me be clear about that. If you're a black person and you care about black people and doing the right thing, then the first thing that should come to your mind is like, yeah, whether it's anything heterosexual that's overly suggestive or something that is homosexual that is overly suggestive. Why are we directing this towards kids? See, family, this thing that I hope that other brothers and sisters out there in the LGBTQ, whatever letter y'all just added, because you can't keep up with it. They always add letters. I hope that those of you who are in the black community are inspired by the brother Flame Monroe. And what I would say to you, just suggestion coming from a heterosexual black man, y'all need to get together. Get together and stand for something and push back. And don't leave the brother Flame out there by itself like that. You know, as far as y'all in that particular community. Because, see, I'm going to tell you something right now about me. I'm like this. As long as you respect who I am as a person, okay, being a heterosexual man, I can respect who you are as a person in the LGBTQ community. As long as we got that understanding, we ain't going to have no problems. Now, where the next step that comes in at, okay, what's your ideology? If you black first, okay, across the board on everything, that's all I need to know. I don't need to know nothing about your personal business. That's not my affair, okay? I ain't got nothing to do with that. As long as you ain't doing nothing to nobody's kids and nothing like that, hey, man, if a white supremacist is over there getting at you and I see that, oh, I'm coming. I got your back, all right? That's how I feel about it. And I would hope that you will have mine. Hey, I'm going to tell you, hey, man, take off one of your heels and throw it and hit that joke in the head with it, man, so I can go ahead and get this combo rolling. Or like we call down here in the South, hook them GA jumper cables up to your mouth. I mean, I got jokes, man, but what I'm saying is, for me, I'm the type of brother, man, where it's like, if I'm out in public and there's a person in front of me that's, you know, because sometimes you can't tell. Some people you would not know if they're in that community unless they're just over the top and flamboyant with it. But let's just take a brother like Flame. If I'm in a supermarket somewhere, I'm finna check out, man, I'm take no issue with that. Hey, they're in there to get the same thing I'm there to get. I don't have no problem with that. I'm not finna go and harass them or call them no names. And see, this is something I will address before we get back to analyzing this here tonight. And this is the part that a lot of people don't want to address, but I'm going to be bold enough to address it over here. Even though it is not the majority of us, and when you look back historically in Black America, we have always accepted the people that were in the LGBTQ community. There have been many examples of famous entertainers, okay, that were embraced by our community. We didn't make no big deal of it, from the Luther Vandross, okay, let's see, Freddie Jackson, man, Little Richard. I mean, you can name on and on. I'll be here forever. Okay, James Baldwin, who is one of the people that I have a high amount of respect for that man. His intellect, it was far superior than many people that had an issue with him back in the day. I even have content on my channel where he and the brother Malcolm X were debating some white supremacists and some Sambos, and they made fools out of them. That was a masterclass on how to use a steel man argument in a debate versus a straw man argument, and they broke down red herrings in there like it wasn't nothing. Superior intellect. So just giving you a couple of examples of some people that have been in our community that we hold in high esteem, those of us with sense anyway. But see, you have a section of our community that, in order, and I'm going to put this on us as men, maybe some of the women, but I'm just speaking on the men's behalf. You got a section of guys where, like, if they find out somebody is like that, they feel like in order to distinguish themselves, they have to either pick on them or go into this hyper masculine mode where you're trying to harass them. I'm like, nah, don't do that, bro. For what? If they're not doing you no harm, man, you let that person be who they are. Only thing you should care about is, are they on code or not? All right. And as long as they're not harming nobody in the community, not trying to trick nobody in the community, why you got an issue with them? That's my permanent stance on that. So see, the reason why I would caution brothers on having that type of attitude towards someone like the brother Flame Monroe, that feeds fuel to the fire with the mainstream media talking about the homophobia in the black community. They would take that small percentage of guys that refers to and make them like, oh, that's all black men. I'm like, nah, man, don't do that. And I would ask any brother that has that mindset, check yourself on that, man. Don't do that. They still our people at the end of the day, and their lifestyle choices don't have nothing to do with your life. And I feel like where we at in this country right now, trying to get these reparations, trying to make sure that justice is produced for our people, we need all hands on deck if they have the same mindset, okay? So with that being said, I want y'all to keep that in mind and prepare to listen to all of what's about to be said here next, because this is going to get very, very interesting.
Or you said 16 and
2019 and 16.
Wow.
And 2019, 7 months apart.
Wow.
I was busy.
That speaks volumes. Wow. Okay. And so on that note, because, and I'm so glad you said that, because That's really it. There's no hatred. It's irresponsibility. The same thing.
But it's on so many different people.
Absolutely.
And they want to keep blaming the artist. It's not the artist's
No, it's a
fault
mixture.
when it's on that. But when it comes down to that story time,
Yeah.
that is when you know you are dealing with children.
Mm-hmm.
But and let me just be very honest and very transparent. Before I had kids, I probably would have been cussing or something in the store, and somebody said, "Oh, Flame, don't say that. It's kids in here." I would have said, "They ain't my damn kids." So, and that was my youth, and I'm being very honest. I probably
real.
would have.
That's
I
real.
probably have said it.
That's real.
But
Go ahead.
then once I had my own children, I realized what was so important for my children to understand and not hear or see that I could shield them from. The internet don't let you shield your children from anything.
That's true.
So here's the thing. You teach your kids before the internet teaches them.
Come on. Ooh, say that. Come on. Come on. Teach your children before the internet does. And on that note,
Are you a thinker, an intellectual, or are you an intellectual extremist? In these critical times we are living in today, a time we never imagined could ever exist, is our reality. How we maneuver in this dark drama we wish was a movie is crucial in order to live a life of peace, happiness, and integrity. The most important thing we need to remember is that we are not alone, and that's why intellectual extremists exist today. We all have different roles and responsibilities we can take part in, but what is essential within roles is having the equipment to stay fortified, shielded, and also to help others. By joining our Patreon, a way you can support and be rewarded for furthering the mission to provide survival skills both for intellectual, physical, and spiritual prosperity. We have 3 tiers on Patreon you can choose from. Join our Patreon and experience the wonderful exchange of giving and receiving. Let's light others' light with our light, something that is truly needed in these dark times. Join Intellectual Extremist Patreon today.
Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union, and I'm going to refer to the child as Zion, but they are now legally getting the name switched to Zaya.
Yes.
I believe, and he's 15 years young. What are your thoughts? And this is, again, we love our family, so that's not the problem. It's okay, we know the government is behind a lot of what's happening, right, as it pertains to funding things that are pushing the divide between parent and child. Okay, not directly the parent doing what they're doing. There is incentives. It's being pushed as if this is the best way to be. Oh, this is just all you. Don't worry about what your parents say. It's just all you. You are the star. You're this. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Who is benefiting here, really? Because as you said, the parent is who is supposed to be teaching the children. And we love our people. Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union, we don't hate our people. However, we're watching this and it's looking like your child is being, I would say, sacrificed up to public opinion more so than the teaching. And we know there's a lot of factors. So we don't know what goes on in the house. That's another thing that we have to be very honest about. We don't know what's going on in the house of any of our people, so we can't judge anybody. But it's just something that needs to be looked at when it comes to the responsibility of artists, since you brought that thing up there. So what are just some of your thoughts?
So
So now, before our good brother Rizza lets Flame speak here, now I'm going to take this time to make my stance clear on the whole thing where, you know, the brother was saying we don't know what's going on in their house, so we can't judge anybody. And now that's that brother's conjecture. I'm going to give you my stance on that. He's right on that. We don't know exactly what's going on in that house, but we do see what's going on outside of their house that they choose or have chosen to show us regarding Zion, who they're calling Zaya Wade now. Okay, we do see that. So now here's what I'm telling everybody over here in my audience, because I feel I need to be very responsible. And again, I have a high amount of respect for that brother Rizza Islam. But when you put it out in the public, yes, it is free to be judged. And you know my stance on the word judgment. Today, one of the big problems in our society is don't judge nobody. We don't judge this. Judgment is a protection. You make judgments when you get up in the morning about whether you put on clothes or go outside your house naked. In the dominant society, and if you will go and look at my YouTube shorts, you will see evidence of this. The dominant society chooses to make judgments on whether they will get up and actually take a bath or a shower or not. Judgments are made when you are near a hot stove and you don't just put your hand up there. The bottom line is this: judgments are a protection. The word "don't judge," this not judging, no, that causes a lot of problems in our community. So there is the one thing that I would take contention with there that the brother said. That right there, this don't judge nobody stuff. Nah, it depends on what the situation is. So regarding Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union's situation here with Zion Wade, who they're now calling Zaya, we do have every right to judge that. Especially, I'm going to tell you why we also have the right to judge it, in my opinion. When you get up on, what was it, the NAACP Awards they were just at, and Gabrielle gave that speech wagging her finger at the black community. Well, when you address that directly towards us, you damn right we have a reason to judge that, and we have a right to respond to you until you know. Most of us would prefer to have our kids wait until they are of age and are out of our household in order to, before they make certain adult decisions that will affect them for the rest of their lives. Okay. So now that's where you do make it the black community's business. Okay. And like I said, again, salute to the brother Rizza Islam, but that's what I would add to that. That is my personal stance on it. The rest of you probably have your own stances on that, but that's just the way I see it. So if you don't want to be judged, don't put it out there. Whatever is public consumption is free for judgment. Let's let them continue.
Multiply, add, divide, and subtract this situation, because I'm about to multiply, add, divide, and subtract this situation. I want to first commend Dwayne Wade and Zaya's, respectfully, stepmother, Gabrielle Union, for giving that child a safe place to call home. Definitely. Because when I was a kid, my mom didn't accept the gay and the trans. I was every sissy and faggot and don't switch and don't act like a guy. So the fact, and the world is already mean. So the fact that they have provided this kid with a safe place at home to be whoever she expresses herself to be, I commend that. Now, here's the other side. Here's the backside. Y'all want to get angry at everybody for having an opinion. When you open your blinds, people look through your windows. Y'all publicly put that child on public display. Nobody else did that. So don't get angry because the court of public opinion will never fail. And will never stop. Yes. And the internet has catapulted to something else. Yes. So don't get angry at everybody for having their opinion. I just put a blog up on my Instagram page because they're going after Samore to say that Samore is transphobic. I personally know Samore. Samore has loved the gay kids and supported the trans entertainers, male and female, for 25 years. She made a joke that Zaya is a boy. FYI, Zaya is a boy. She is a boy. I'm going to say respectfully, she is a boy. And that's not no dig or no read, but we live in a country where you can identify and live freely how you want to without all of this harboring. If you stop bringing the attention to yourself, sometimes you throw out a fish line and you bring it to you. That's true. I'm not inviting negativity into my DNA. And if I don't like you, you will know I don't like you because I'm going to say it. I thought that when they were on I love what Dwayne Wade said about his daughter publicly, but was it necessary is the question. She knows how you feel about her. Yes. Who's the seal at the circus here looking for a sardine? Ooh, and then when Gabby got on with all of this, I'm a black trans woman for more than 30 years. I've been a trans woman. You have the experience. But as a black trans woman, I know what it is and I know what comes with this. And when I was on the Breakfast Club, I said when this whole controversy hit, I said, as long as they don't give that child hormone blockers or female testosterone at this age, because some things you cannot take back. I'm cool with them allowing her to express who she is and be what she wants to be. But they're getting angry at everybody because everybody's not on the train. I do not feel like black trans women of color or trans women of color are under this certain attack. I think sometimes some of us, not all, because there are people that will attack us just for being who we are. Sure. That you cannot get away from that. Sure. But to bring all of this, they're killing us, is an untruth. And what it is doing, it is putting a great cloud of doom that I don't even want to be affiliated with that because I might get hurt in the process of just being around somebody like that. You cannot think that you can have it both ways. And so when she was doing all of that with the head and the acting, I'm like, is this an episode of Mary Jane? I'm looking at it like I'm thinking I'm watching an episode of Mary Jane, honestly. And we're being attacked every day. That's not true.
Right.
I walk around sometimes with makeup on, sometimes with makeup off, all the time. And I don't mean mug. I'm friendly to people. And I am not a passable trans woman. You know I'm not a woman. But sometimes I think it's the way you carry yourself. And I think the problem with this younger demographic of trans women, and I say it trans women specifically, is that they are angry. And we keep sending the wrong representatives to the table to have a real conversation like we are having right
critical.
now.
Yes.
I don't have an agenda. I'm not angry. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just trying to get you to understand me.
Same here.
And I can understand you.
Same here.
This is how we will live together in the world. But what they're pushing and what they're forcing, and everybody is that's the newest word. Everything is phobic. Oh,
Right.
I'm transphobic. Yeah,
I was going to ask you that.
I'm transphobic and I'm transgender. Please tell me how the hell I'm transphobic and transgender. They love to holler. Flame, you're not a real trans woman. You're not a real trans woman.
Wow.
Keep telling me what I ain't, and I'm going to keep reminding what you ain't going to never be.
Oh, man. Ooh, okay.
This is mother talk.
So I want to pause it right here and touch on something that the brother Flame just said, right? Okay, so now this is a fair point to bring up. And we all over here in these spaces, we understand what that agenda is, especially with that damn Democratic Party where they're trying to push that and shove that down people's throat. Flame said something very important. If you are a part, you know what? Let's do it this way. It's not even if you just a part of the LGBTQ community, but what Flame just said, it actually applies to everybody, whether you heterosexual or homosexual. The problems that you might be having could be due to how you carry yourself. I think that's something that I'm glad Flame said that, because like we all see how some of these different organizations will get black people in the LGBTQ community and put them up front and make them the mascot, and then have them repeating all these false talking points about, like Flame was saying, how everybody's attacking them every time you see them. For me, I've never seen that. I've never seen that in my life. I have never seen a group of black people just go after some person because they're gay or whatever the case may be. Okay, now, if you do see it, we have to ask the question, okay, was it something that you did? All right. And when I say did, I'm not talking about just you being who you are, no matter which category of that community you fall into. Because now, let's be clear. If you walking around minding your own business, you hadn't done nothing to nobody, and somebody go to assault you, they ain't got no right to do that. And I do not support that. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you go to do that to somebody and they light your ass up with a power tool, you deserve everything that you get. Don't go fucking with nobody that's not bothering you. That's the way I was raised. You don't bother people that ain't done nothing to you. Really ain't got no business making no comments to them, especially they're not talking to you. But now, if it's a situation where you are one of the ones in the community that could go for passing as a woman, let's just say, then you get out here and you try to fool somebody. Now, that's another issue altogether, all right? Now, you brought that on yourself if that happens to go left. And I think that's a fair assessment. Nobody should be tricked or deceived into anything on either end of the spectrum, okay? So now, I'm glad Flame took a moment to bring that up, because, see, this is one reason why I hope, and I got to do some more investigation into this. I wonder, does Flame have any type of organization or programs where he tries to get other people in that community that are on board and thinks like him to actually be active doing some of these things out front? Maybe he doesn't, because, he's a comedian by trade, as far as I know. But I would like to do some investigation into that, because, see, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you what I would like to see. Okay. And again, shout out to our brother, Greg Marcel Dixon. I would like to see brothers that have his mindset, Flame Monroe's mindset. I would like them to find wherever the rest of the own cold brothers and sisters out there are. And when the Democrats come out here trying to force things on the black community that we're not about and trying to overlook us as far as with tangibles, think about how powerful we would be if that community said, okay, look, this is who we are. This is what we're about. But when it comes to us getting tangibles, nah, you got to give us something. You got to give all of our people something. Instead of trying to make the LGBTQ community a separate branch of blackness or apart from blackness, let's all unite as one people, okay? Because, see, think about this. You would get a lot more done if we just said, hey, we're black first. So whatever you're doing for me as a person in this community over here, you got to do it for all of my people. See, I think that's fair. You know what I'm saying? And see, the day that ever happens, think about how powerful this will be before we get back to analyzing this. The day that you get a group of on-code brothers and sisters together in that community, the Democrats can't call them homophobic then. Hey, they already who they are. They're not afraid of each other. So, this is why I say when we over here in New Black Media Spaces and we address these types of issues, if there are brothers and sisters over here that are in the community that are on code, hey, you welcome over here. As long as you black first and you focus on us getting justice, I ain't got no problem with nobody of any type of orientation. I don't. As long as you're not trying to groom kids or anything like that, I ain't got no problem with you. You know what I'm saying? I see you as another brother or sister in the community, okay? But I want to get back to this conversation here because, like I said, they're going to go into detail about a great many things. I'm surprised you two left this up. So I said, well, before they try to snatch it down, let me cover it on my channel so I can, one, present this information to you all, and number two, let you all know that the brother Rizza does have a new channel. In fact, now that I see more people have joined us, I'm going to put the link to our brother Rizza's new channel back in here again. I'll be doing that periodically as the numbers go up. But let's get back to this conversation.
Come get it.
Man, look, Flame Monroe.
Yeah.
For a reason.
The one.
Wow. So, and you went right into the next thing I was going to ask you about, which is transphobia.
Yeah.
What is that? Because it changes, as you said, with every person.
The newest word that's out, the newest popular word, because it was problematic, and now it's transphobic, and now it's if you don't agree with what they say now, you automatically transphobic. Wow. That is the most baffling thing in the world to me. Outside of this country, want to cancel books that teach critical race theory, but keep selling AR-15. So you want to stop selling books that teach us history, but keep selling rifles that make us history.
Oh, dang. Okay. All right. Come on, Flame.
Pretty bitch.
Come on, Flame. Dropping the truth. Okay, you dropping it. Come on.
It's out of control. They're making trans people transphobic just because you. And here's the thing.
Wow.
As part of the LGBT community, we are the most opinionated. I always got something to say. But this new generation is the softest breed of egg I've ever seen.
Wow.
You can dish it out, but you can't take it. I don't understand that.
Come on. No, that's a fact. This is a fact.
So now everybody is, if you don't agree with something they said, you're hateful or you're transphobic. That don't make you transphobic. That means that and because you're a straight man and I'm a transgender woman, you may never understand my lifestyle. That don't mean you don't want to see me eat.
Right, of course.
You just may not invite me to eat at your table, which is cool. But that does not mean that you wish me harm or ill will. You just, you over there doing your thing. I'm over here doing my thing. If we bypass each other, what's up, and keep it moving.
Right.
Acceptance, again, it's a blueprint. We want acceptance from everybody else, and a lot of these younger generations of trans women that want acceptance have not. Let me say that very public. Have not accepted themselves. They have issues with, I was born in this body and I feel this way, but you live in America. You can live as what you want to. My biggest argument right now, Rizza, with my community is this whole black and gay at the same time, or black and trans. Your birth certificate says sex male black or sex female black. Everything else you becoming the component that you put on in your life, it may have been instilled in you, but you find it throughout your life. So don't come at me telling me I was born trans and black at the same time. Bullshit. Because Ahmaud Arbery was not killed for running down the street with rainbow shorts and a triangle flag. He had his black skin on him.
Come on.
What's her name on the freeway? They killed her in the prison. What's her name?
Oh my God.
I'm having a brain fart.
Our sister
Sandra Bland was not killed because she was a trans woman. She was killed because she was a black woman.
Yes.
What's his name? Trayvon Martin wasn't killed because he was a trans man with his hoodie on, or he was a lesbian. He was a black boy.
Yes.
And y'all keep arguing at me with this. They hung us from trees, not because Lil Billy was fucking Lil David, but because Lil Billy and Lil David were both black.
Right.
And so that's not an argument for me. And I tell them all the time, don't miss me with that, because I'm not trying to hear any of it.
That's right.
So I am ostracized by my community. I am shunned by my community, but I am blessed by the Lord, so y'all can kiss my dick in the face. Can I say that? Oh, okay. Just want to make sure you know where we at.
You know what?
I know what it is.
These are real. These are the real conversations. You know what? This is why, again, they fear certain individuals who just speak the unadulterated truth. This is the kind of conversation that makes people come together, understand each other, and respect one another. Because, like, you know what? Thank you. All I needed was for you to tell me the truth. That's all I need. Thank you. At least, even if, like you said, even if that means I stand over here, you stand over there, we know where each other stands, we respect it.
And what you said about as far as trans people and this and that. But I want to also put on the other side because I'm very fair down the middle.
Definitely.
A lot of men run around here messing around with trans girls because there are some beautiful, passable trans girls out here. But it's some things that you cannot fool. Stevie Wonder got 9 kids and 13 baby mamas. They never seen a vagina and they never mistake one. Let me just say that because y'all love to say, we had sex and I didn't know. A hard penis and a wet vagina don't look, smell, or feel the same. Ask me how I know I didn't had them both before I came. Anyway, so I don't like when men do that because then it makes it look like, oh, she tricked me. She tricked me. You might be able to trick me physically, but sexually, you can't trick me.
Yes.
They don't feel the same.
And you know what? I don't know from experience, but I'm saying how this anatomy works biologically. There are a lot of things, to my knowledge, that a person who is post-op, who went through the full transition where they, had the surgery, bottom surgery, from my understanding. There are a lot of things you have to do because your body naturally is not made for that as a male, as a naturally born biological male.
Yeah.
So there are things you have to do to maintain that opening now.
Yeah.
So a man, a straight heterosexual man coming into contact with someone who now identifies as a woman, you can't just literally, since you brought that up, I don't know from experience, but how the anatomy works.
By the way, me either.
Well, there you go. So I just want to point that out. Yes, that's actual facts, just because of how
it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work to have an SRS. But when I seen the surgery, because you can go online and watch the actual surgery, and I'm telling you, I held on to my loins for 48 hours because I was petrified. I ain't moving front, and I'm a trans woman. It scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And I know some sisters. I have some sisters that seem to be very happy with their SRS, but I also have some sisters that had some less than 2 years ago, and they are absolutely miserable.
Wow.
They are the most unhappy people, which is why now so many detransition groups are happening.
Yes.
It is so many because that's why I was saying about Zaya Wade. 15 years old, your life happens to you in spurts. So from 13 to 17, you think one way. From 19 to maybe 26, you think another way.
Yes.
And then 32, 33 up, you think this is who I'm gonna be forever, possibly.
Yes.
But if you don't give yourself the choice or that option, you can't take it back. Once you start taking hormones, it shrinks your penis, it messes with your sperm count, you grow breasts, and your penis size at 15, your penis still growing. And who knows? Zaya may meet some little trans man, which is a guy, but he's born biologically a female, and he might, oh my God, I like this. I love trans men. Because people always say, I ain't never did that. Well, then don't tell me what you don't like, because if you ain't never did it, you don't know what you're missing, or you don't know what you possibly could be missing. So I just think that it's preponderous, and I'm gonna tell you the biggest mishap that has happened with SRS surgeries. Back in my era, the girls had to work for years to go to therapy, make sure that they were sure of this. And you had to pay the $30,000 out your pocket. But with insurance now, you can sign on the dotted line.
And that's it.
They swipe it off just like that. And hear me when I tell you, it's a novelty to some people, but it is a life-altering novelty because from what I hear from my 2 girlfriends recently who just had it, they gave up way more than just their sexual organ. They can't even have an orgasm. Do you know how angry I would be if I couldn't bust? That ain't got nothing to do with identity. That got something to do with humanist life. I want to release myself when I need to, and I'm not willing to sacrifice that for anyone. Now, that's not to say that all girls can't. I don't want them to be saying, you don't know, and I don't know, and I will never know. Because I'm the slave. I didn't run away and they caught me and cut mine off. That's the choice you made. I ain't choosing it. That nigga staying right here forever. We gonna get.
So, boy, I tell you, some of this is kind of funny, but I want to take a minute to touch on something very important that the brother Flame just said. Right now, remember when he was talking about how back then, when someone was trying to make the decision whether to become a part of the trans community or what have you, that they had to take a lot of time to think about it, go through counseling, therapy, what have you, to make sure that before they made this decision that this is what they really wanted to do, and they had to pay for it out of their own pocket. I think that it should have been left that way because that would give people more time to be sure that you're going to make that decision. And see, let me tell you something about how America works, all right? Because I don't think they're going to touch on this in the interview, but I'm going to bring it up here because it's something that you can pretty much easily verify. Reason why they made this thing now where it's a part of like getting an elective surgery and like insurance covers it as a medical procedure America does not care about people in general. Okay, they don't care nothing about these people's well-being and their mental health and everything, and all the issues that they will probably have to face after this if they just risk to make a decision because of influence, okay, or because of being pressured by society and certain types of agendas or whatever, okay. It doesn't work on everybody, but it does work on some people, okay. So now when you look at it, the bottom line is about making money. See, go back on this channel and look up the broadcast that I did on the corporation, America's real government. Yeah, go and look that broadcast up, and it will break down just how insidious and evil the American corporation is. Now, a lot of people will tend to say, well, it's just a system of capitalism. This is where I get pushback on that. Capitalism isn't the problem in itself. It's the people that are misusing capitalism that are the problem. Capitalism in itself is not evil, okay? It's not. It's what the intent that you use the capitalism for. That's the evil part right there. So now when you have everybody looking at, oh man, I don't really care as long as I can make $1, they don't care nothing about the long-term consequences and effects that some of these people making these decisions are making. Okay, so now let's just say, and I'm just saying hypothetically because I don't know if they're going to do this, but I truly hope that they don't do that with Zion, who they're now calling Zaya. Because if they do, man, listen, I just feel like that's a situation where the person should be grown and say, all right, look, I'm an adult. This is what I want to do. I'm going to make this decision. That way, at the end of the day, you don't have nobody else to blame but you. Now, if they did that to this kid, like you heard what Flame was saying, everything he was saying is the truth. You make that decision before you really figure out who you really are. There's certain things you can't take back, man. So, I'm glad that the brother Flame, was willing to go here with Rizza about this because, see, let's be clear before we get back into this. The best way to really make progress and actually like bring truth to power on certain things like this is not by calling people a bunch of names and stuff like that. That's ignorant. You're not going to get anywhere because, see, let's look at some common denominators, right? Because I want to be clear for anybody listening to this live recorded that might disagree with this. Before you disagree, listen to what I'm about to say. Whether you homosexual or heterosexual, will anybody in this chat room tell me that if somebody is responding to you or are talking at you with pejorative terms or in a negative way, are you really going to be focused on what they're saying, or are you going to get defensive and say, oh, really, motherfucker? I got something for you. Let me go ahead and respond back the same way. Or would it make more sense if the person addresses you with respect and then gives you the opportunity to address them in kind, okay? See, I've always said that just as respect is earned, so too is disrespect. So if nobody's disrespecting me, I have no reason to engage you disrespectfully. You see what I'm saying? I think everybody in here would agree with that, right? So we're going to get back to this and let the brother Flame and really continue this conversation because, man, like I said, they're going to go all around the table on this one. They're really not going to leave no stone unturned. It's very important.
Go together.
We got Flame Monroe in here, just dropping the truth. This right here again. These are the things that people wish they could just talk about and hear honest truth about, and still have respect for who one another is. Because you brought up the detransitioning, and they just had a detransition day, I believe, a week ago, where they were in front of different capitals all across the country, and they were talking about they had a large amount of detransitioners who are not getting the support and not getting the airtime, as you know, because it's, from my understanding, it's shunned upon, it's looked down upon.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of them.
Which makes me think, Rizza, if you don't have your own mind, oh my God,
Yes.
thank you, Jesus, that I think for me.
Yes.
And you follow the masses and what looks popular at the
trends.
moment.
Yes.
So now you didn't cut the trans men and cut their breasts off, because a lot of them don't get bottom surgery because that's really complicated. They have not perfected that yet. That's as bad as these are damn electric cars.
No,
I ain't gonna say the name, but it begins with a T.
Right.
Anyway, you can't go back. It is forever.
Yes.
And I don't know if they have thought that long term. And if you're used to masturbating a certain way up until 17 or 25, and then you're trying to have to do it another way and nothing happens, you know? That's why I've heard a couple of so-called big name activists, I ain't gonna say their names, I would never give them that much pub, but they're pretty famous, say that I was born and the doctors assigned me a male. If you was born with a penis and testicles, you were born a boy.
Come on.
If you was born with a vagina, you were born a female.
Come on.
It's as simple as that. And all that I was born transgender, how you know? You don't even remember coming out the damn womb. And if you was born transgender or gay, when the doctor slapped you on your ass, you'd have said, Miss Thing, don't touch me like that. But you didn't. You screamed just like every other baby does.
Come on.
That's
Come
it.
on.
Y'all
Respect.
making it so complicated and muddy in the waters. This is why the straight community don't understand us, because we're talking over you or around you or behind you or using words. I make it as ABC as possible. When you go to bed with somebody, do you want some penis or some vagina? You see how simple that is?
Right.
Identify as a tree, this ring light, or this computer. It's fine with me. Which one do you want? And it's okay if you want both. That's simple.
Hey, that's the truth.
I don't even understand all the alphabets that we didn't borrow, because we didn't borrow the whole damn everything but in and out. Because all.
I want to pause right there and interject one thing, okay? Flame just said it's okay if you want both. Let me make an addendum to that. It's okay if you want both, as long as you tell the partners that you're dealing with that you want both, okay? Don't walk into anything blindsiding anybody. I feel like that's the fair way to do that on either end of the spectrum. Just let people know where you stand, put the cards on the table, and they can make a decision, an informed decision on what they choose to do or not to do, okay? And I'm pretty sure Flame meant that, but I just want to make it clear for my audience over here what my stance on that is, okay? So just put all the cards on the table. If that person not with it, there's millions of people in this country. Somebody out there is. You just need to move around till you find who's into what you into. But just want to add that part. So let me get back to it.
24 other letters gone. We LGBT and all the other ones.
That's a fact, because actually, if you look on the website now, it's LGBTQIAA++. That's the actual full acronym now, and then that has a bunch of subdivisions
Could have
in
went
it.
home and came back, and you still would have been repeating.
It's a lot. I mean, really. So now on that, because oh man, you drop so much, and this is, again, I know a lot of people are going to they're just going to appreciate your courage and the truth.
Will be in my inbox sending me the most hateful death threats. Wow. I got death threats and everything.
Death threats?
They fucking with the right one. Let me just say that.
Wow.
But I have gotten death threats. I have gotten threats to my children. And when I did the Breakfast Club, when I did Date with Dave Chappelle, I got threats from my own community. So now the victims have become the bullies, have become the big bullies.
Wow.
Because they have shut me out of so many different things financially. I lost $170,000 after I went to Yellow Springs with Dave between then and now.
Wow.
In gigs.
Wow. To this
because
day.
You're angry that I didn't say what you wanted me to say.
Right.
I see the whole world. I don't see this bubble.
Right.
It's
right.
a whole. I'm an American. You're an American. Whatever color we are, if you were born here, you're an American. Whatever nationality, size, shape, and I push that. That's the way they want to erase my past. Or you got to celebrate Juneteenth, not the 4th of July. Well, you didn't explain Juneteenth to me when I was a kid.
Right.
And our 4th of July was fireworks and the fire hydrant being turned on and catch a girl, kiss a girl. By the way, I always play the girl and I always got caught only by the cute boys. If you was ugly, I was running my ass off. I was slow, Joe. Good God. You wasn't catching me, you ugly ass. But that is the problem. Rizza, it is, to me, it has backfired. Because when President Obama allowed marriage equality and gay marriage, that was great for the gay community, for my community. That was great for us. But now we want to take and take. Even when you prepare a soup or a gumbo, you don't drop all the ingredients in at one time. True. It is gradually, but we don't want to take the steps. We want to kick the door open and say, I'm here, I'm queer, get used to it. Well, I don't like Brussels sprouts. I will never get used to eating I will throw that shit in the garbage.
Come on.
And if that's an easy analogy for y'all, I told you I'm ABC.
Oh, look, come on now. Man, let me see. You flowing right into every single topic that I'm going to bring up here.
That was a pretty bitch.
So, okay.
Not as lovely as your fiance over there.
Oh, I appreciate that. Let me say this. Trans women are women. What are your thoughts?
Trans women are trans women.
And that's not said disrespectfully, because my era, we were transvestites, drag queens, you're a man in a dress. We fought to have the title of trans women.
Gotcha.
Respectfully, trans men are trans men. That is not even a disrespect. It's this younger, new generation, Z crazy, that it's not enough for. But let me just break something down to y'all.
Now, I want y'all to pay attention to how Flame is about to explain this. And if you have never really heard of the brother Flame Monroe, the comedian, or if you never heard him speak on issues like this, because I'll be honest with you, Flame is usually a very direct person when he's speaking on things, but as far as I've seen, this is the most in-depth interview that I've ever seen anybody do with the brother. And they've talked about as many topics that they talked about. What he's about to say next, you're going to see why a lot of that community can't stand this brother, man. But I'll say this. I'm just my conjecture. I bet they won't run up on him and try, man. He look like he'll put them hands on you now. I'm just saying, man. So anybody over there that got an issue with him in that community, I don't think you want to do that. And then he'll probably make a joke out of it on stage. You know, I'm just saying, you get your ass whooped, then get made a joke out of it. But listen to what he's about to say next here.
Real simple, because it looks like I've had some girls arguing with me. It's one girl, she is the angriest bitch on the planet. She should have kept her dick. She would fuck the shit out of some woman. Good God. Anywho, she loves to holler, a woman is a social construct. A woman is so if a woman is a social construct and we're emulating women, what would that make us? Social construction workers? To be truthful. And if biological women stop having sex, if biological women stop having babies, it won't be no more black, white, LGBT, fat, funny looking, or nothing else.
That's fact.
Because you can't get pregnant in ass. I tried both ways, by the way, but you can't. I know y'all ain't gonna like the way I put it to you in the box, but when you find the lie, stop me.
Yo, listen, you know what? Hey, intellectual extremist, and we getting extreme with the actual facts and the intellect. This is what we needed, and I think a lot of people are going to agree. Again, this generation, will say whatever needs to be said out of feelings, but not out of facts.
And because I have relationships with trans men that they're men, they identify as men, but they're biologically women. Yeah. They think that, Flame, you just pandering for the women. No, I know what a woman is. Woman is Mother Earth. We all came through the birth canal of a woman. And all female impersonators, transgendered, sex change, whatever, you did not learn how to be a female or act like a female watching somebody like you in a suit and tie.
That's a fact.
You learn from the woman that raised you, whether it be your mother, your auntie, your stepmother, whomever, your grandmother. That's who you learn how to be a woman from. So then, and as most young gay boys, I don't care what color they are, their best friend was always a biological girl.
That's a fact.
The first person they came out to was her. So she would say, ooh, because my legal name is Marcus. So when I was young, my girlfriend said, ooh, Marcus, I like David. I was like, ooh, girl, I like David too. So now I share my biggest secret. But then when I get so comfortable in my gay or my transgender or whatever I decide to become or whatever's instilled in me, I'm better than you? No, I'm not better than you. You're still my sister. I confided something in you that I couldn't confide in my own mother.
Wow.
But I'm better than you now. That is the problem. We keep trying to dismiss women. You cannot dismiss a woman.
Right.
Life
or
would
compete.
Stop.
Right.
They tell me, well, they're making it with me. I wouldn't even want a goddamn baby that came from a tube. I already got two that came from my tube. Let me put the head in trigger has worked for years. Good God. And mind you, it worked for me and on me.
Oh, man. Okay, Flame. Okay. Let me ask you this. Men and women, when it comes to sports, should trans women be allowed, in your opinion, to fight, compete against, run against, swim against biological women?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
That's it in a nutshell. We are physically stronger, even if we take hormones or what have you. And I know a lot of my sisters get mad about that. But you know who did this shit? I'm gonna blame the ESPY Awards. The ESPYs did this. Y'all started this. Y'all cut the cord and released this ball by giving a bitch that became a woman in 22 minutes. That microwave Caitlyn Jenner became a woman in 22 minutes, discarding every woman that was in sports or any other thing by giving her Woman of the Year.
Yes.
It was disrespectful. And if you go back and look at that video and when they panned that audience, the faces were disgruntled, distasteful. But that was when the whole cancel culture and woke culture really kicked off. So if you say anything, they taking away everything. They have taken away many from me. You won't take this.
Wow.
You damn sure won't take this, and you'll never take this.
That's right.
I am like the Wiz, and I got the heart, the brain, and the courage.
Yeah, come on now.
And I will send your ass home.
That's right.
I'm well.
Come on. Oh, come on now. That's real.
It is so unfair.
That is very real.
And when I saw that story about the swimmer maybe last year in Ohio who ranked 530 something with men, but was number one over the women. That was self-explanatory.
I think it was Riley Gaines and Leah Thomas.
That was You didn't need to go into a whole. This nigga beat these women. That's exactly what it was,
and was allowed to do it,
and didn't tuck his penis, walking around in the dressing room in the room with his junk out in front of my daughter. I'm transgender. I don't want my daughter exposed to that. That's as bad as y'all talking about the drag queens and hurting kids. The drag queens don't hurt the kids. The responsibility is on everybody. But see, they'll never want to look at it like that.
Right?
They don't.
So I want to take this time out to actually welcome everybody that's joining us over here. If you have not caught the beginning of the broadcast, we are reviewing the interview that our good brother Rizza Islam did with the trans comedian Flame Monroe, and they are covering pillar to post on every type of subject you could name. And see, this is something else I want to point out, family. Before we get back to this, you notice how the Democratic Party, when they're talking about, the LGBTQ community and they're particularly addressing black people, you notice they won't go talk to nobody like Flame. You ever notice that? See, watch this. I wonder, okay, because the reason why I'm saying this is going to be evident a little bit later in the broadcast, but I wonder if the brother Flame would be willing to publicly ask them, hey, since you want to reach the black community so bad, let me talk to my people. I understand my people. He's on code on a greater number of issues, but see, they don't want that. So here's what I would suggest. See, over here in New Black Media Spaces, we have to use these spaces to not only just cover what's gone on in the past, what's going on in present day. Media spaces should be used to innovate how we conduct ourselves offline. So I'm like this. A number of us, as long as this brother's on code with most of our issues, what we're trying to do as a complete community, no matter what your orientation or whatever it is, education, none of that, male, female, whatever the case may be. If this brother is on code and there's others like him, we should rally behind them and say, hey, okay, Democratic Party, you say you want to talk to us? Okay, we want these people to speak for us and speak to us about things. Now, that would really, as anti-black as the Democratic Party has shown themselves to be, and that's not an endorsement of the Republican Party. We have to make that clear for the short bus people. But as anti-black as the Democratic Party has shown themselves to be, that would really put them on Front Street. Because like, okay, you can't say that this person is homophobic or anything, but you got a black person that's actually talking about things that matter to black people. Now, if you don't want to have anybody like that represent our community, then that shows you that wasn't really for our community in the first place. See, that I think that would deal them a big blow, man. I'm going to see what I can do as far as reaching out to that brother's people and seeing if that's something that he already does or would do or whatever the case may be. Because, see, we need representatives that are on code in every area of our society at the hour of our history right now. So that's just something I want to put on you all's minds. And also, do me a favor. I'm going to put it back in the chat room one more time. I'm trying to make sure that we get our brother Rizza Islam's new channel up. He has a new channel. This is his third channel on YouTube. Boy, they stay deleting that brother's content. But do go over here. I would like it if all 5,000 of you plus over here would go and subscribe to that brother's new channel. I just dropped the link in the chat. But we're going to let these brothers get back to it right here. And like I said, this is a very interesting conversation. It needs to be had in the greater majority of our community across the board. Let's let it continue.
Wow.
It is ridiculous, but I would never shoot down the drag shows. I made my living off of that. Drag shows are entertaining. Women love drag shows. Women adore coming to drag shows and drag the men along with them. Now, the men might be uncomfortable with some of them, but because of RuPaul's Drag Race, it has brought a big face to its regular. But now it is too much, and it's turning around. And the needle was moving forward gradually, but they moved it so fast that it's bent.
Wow.
And it's scary.
Wow. Woo. Okay, you
It's
dropping
scary.
you putting it all out here. Thoughts on, I just thought about this, but because you brought up something very critical with the drag queen reading hour, your thoughts on Billy Porter becoming the fairy god person. So taking over Whitney Houston, who was a fairy godmother in Cinderella. Before Whitney Houston was someone else who was always a fairy godmother. Now he is the fairy god person, calling himself the Fab G. And he said the children, I'm quoting his words from one of the interviews about that. He said, the children are ready. It's the parents that need to catch up. End quote. What are your thoughts?
The children are not ready. And the parents are in charge. And of course, Billy Porter would say that he has what? No children. Again, when you have no biological children of your own, that's not to say that you couldn't love an adopted kid or your nephew or your niece, but when you see your own eyes looking back at you, you have no idea. People always say, I'll die for my kids. We don't want you to die for us. Would you live for your kids? Is what should be said.
Wow.
Because I sacrificed who I was just to make sure that my children had as much normalcy in their life as possible. With the whole Billy Porter thing, I think Billy Porter is very talented. I think that Billy Porter had caught a wave and a platform that people wanted to hear right now, and he's riding high on it. Do I think that that's truth? Absolutely not. I just think that he's riding high on the platform that he has garnered.
Definitely.
And it is profiting him and everybody around him in a major way. But when they want to pull the plug, they will pull the plug. And what people are not seeing is that the throw the rock and hide your hand situation syndrome is happening. Divide and conquer is happening. They are dividing us, LGBT community, putting the trans over here and the gays over here. Meanwhile, the GOP is moving this needle forward and forward and forward. They're going to use the kids, transgender kids, what we doing to transgender kids, to get back in office.
That's right.
Because if Trump had his way, let me say this because I said it on Bay Ready in 2019 on my special. Donald Trump is trying to completely eradicate the transgender community. I don't know what it is with it ain't the gays. He is trying to move a train and put us like the Jewish community. I believe if he could, we would all be in ovens.
Wow.
And guess what I am? Even though I don't even speak like the majority of my community that's against me, I'm still transgender. If he put up all of them on the train, guess where I'm going? I'm going on that train.
I understand. I definitely understand.
That's why I'm afraid of. That's what I'm afraid of, because I don't want to be labeled and put in the same thing that you are when you don't see the whole world. I respect people.
Right.
I do your thing. I'm not knocking what you're saying, but so many people always got something to say. He's with Zaya Wade. Everybody got something to say with Zaya Wade. I didn't like that. I do like the fact that they're letting her live her life, but even with Magic Johnson and his son, they kept EJ on the low until EJ got grown and was able to handle all that was coming on.
Right.
Now, I want to take this moment right here to address something that Flame was saying regarding Donald Trump, okay? Because we all see that Trump got his hands full with a lot right now. And I do believe most of that is politically motivated by the Democratic Party, because they could have done this a long time ago if they wanted to deal with that. But that is a subject for another time. I want to take the time to deal with what Flame was saying, because, see, what I take from interviews like this, which are rare, okay, because one, you have to have someone with the social skill set and the respectability of a brother like Rizza Islam. Then you have to have someone that is courageous enough to not shy away from these controversial topics, so to speak, like a Flame Monroe. I like to take the time to listen and learn so that I get an understanding of what the brothers and sisters over there in that community must be thinking about. Because if you're not a part of that community, you don't really know like that. Okay, unless you have someone in your family that's in that community that you're really close to, that you talk to. So here's the thing that I would say. When he brought up the issue about the concern about Donald Trump trying to do things to him, this is what I would say. I'm like, listen, man, they black. You're not going to do nothing to our people that hadn't done nothing. You need to start with your white supremacist white male shooters over here shooting up these schools before you come and do anything over here to my people. See, the point that I'm making is, if that's a concern of theirs, as long as they're not harming the community, they on code, we need to let them know, no, we got your back. You black first, okay? Whatever you choose to do, that's your business. We're not going to let nobody come over here and do nothing to none of our people, okay? If it's anything that needs to be addressed or dealt with, we deal with that in-house. But we're not going to let nobody from no other community come at you. See, when I say I love my people for real. You understand? I don't give a damn what Flame choose to identify as. That brother hadn't broken no law or done no harm to nobody. I'll be damned if you're going to march in any community where I'm at and go do nothing to none of our brothers and sisters in the LGBT community. I'm not going to let you do that. Nah, they black first. And when you say black first, that's supposed to mean that across the board. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of people might not like that. That's your business. When I say it, I mean it for real. So that's just something I think that if you do have people in that community, especially in your family, have these types of conversations with them. You know what I'm saying? Show them this broadcast and this interview and just get their take on it so that you have a better understanding of how to move about in the world with your people, because you're gonna run into our people out there. So we're in a phase in this country in our history where we need to be drawing closer together to get things done that benefit us as a whole, okay? And anybody that's working to the contrary of that, those are the people that we have to identify as the problem. And the first question we need to ask together, and let me show you. Think about this. If those of us that they're trying to cause discord with in our community, meaning those in the dominant society, for their own personal agendas that don't work for us, think about what happens when across the board, no matter what the issue is, when we see them coming and they send their little flunkies amongst us to try to do that, the first thing all of us do is put our differences to the side and turn toward them and say, hey, nigga, who sent you? Well, who sent you? We don't recognize you. You don't speak for none of us. But yeah, everything we trying to do, you trying to bring up an issue against it. Well, who sent you? And in fact, the business, not only who sent you, go back to who sent you and tell them to come face us. Don't send the flunky. Send the one that's pulling the strings. We want the puppet master, not the puppet. Okay? So that's just my conjecture on that. And I would love to see us get to that point. And that's something that we can do, family. Okay? I believe that we can do it in this generation between Generation X and the millennials that are on code and our baby boomers that are still on code. We can't leave them out. I know a lot of them are problems, but there are some of them that are still on code. Okay? So we need to focus on getting to points of understanding where we have the same agenda that moves us forward as a society together, okay? That's what they fear more than anything. But let's let them get back to it.
I don't know what's happening with Zaya. Maybe she just experienced who she was younger, and I love that Dwayne and Gabby are letting her be who she was. But don't get mad at people for saying that, because y'all exposed that to that. You don't know what's happening in my house unless I show you.
That's true. That's true. And that's one major thing.
But they don't want to take responsibility for that. They want to blame everybody else.
Yes, and that's the thing when it comes to being an artist, celebrity, you get known. Too many people often I hear them say, well, I'm not a leader. And, you know, I didn't sign up to be a leader. I play basketball. I do movies, etc. I'm not a leader. And it's like, well, no, what you do does shape people's opinions. They look up to you. People look at, they're inspired by what you do. Whatever it is, if it's comedy, if it's acting, if it's basketball, there are people who look up to that topic and they look at you and they want to do what you do, be like you. So whatever you do, they tend to want to emulate. So, you know, we are being looked at. Same as Flame is being watched. I'm being watched. There are people watching. All you watching.
I heard they watching you. You just got off the look. They really watching you. I don't want y'all to put me on that list.
Right. Oh, you good. You all right.
Oh, Rizza, you know what that is. I love that you said that, because even I had to evolve. I'm trying to get better with the terminology, but it's so confusing to me. I'm still lost on gender non-conforming and some. I don't know. I don't. And let me say, I'm not ignorant.
Right.
But if you don't.
Now that's saying something. When a member of the community is telling you, hey, man, it's so many letters added and so many definitions, I'm lost. Now that part, that I laughed at that, but that goes to show you that even members of the community don't understand all this stuff that they coming out with. And it's very simple. Why? Because, like, okay, for one, and this is just my thoughts on this. This is not meant to disrespect anybody or take any shots at anybody. Just my opinion, my open thoughts on it. I think that one of the best things that, particularly the brothers and sisters in the LGBTQ community that are black, okay, I think one of the things that would need to be done that would be very helpful is for them to get together and say, okay, how much of this is what's important to us and what we want, and how much of this is being pushed in our direction or promoted to us by the dominant society that ends up not benefiting us. And see, before we get back to this is something that I would love to see all the brothers and sisters over there that actually do care about our people as a whole. They should take this stance. They should say, hey, listen, you've been using black people in the LGBTQ community for decades now as the mascots. You put us out there out front. But then when it's time for tangibles, okay, now you don't deal with us at all no more. Now you all right, nigga, we'll see you next go around. We need you to get out here with this megaphone in March. I think those brothers and sisters should make it known that we're greatly offended by that. We're not going to let you use us like that anymore. See, These are the types of things that we should encourage them to be doing, okay? Because see, like I said, at the end of the day, you still a black person, and you've seen it now for decades that they've shown you that, yeah, we'll use you, but we're not going to actually uplift you or do anything better for you other than give you a job here or there, okay? So, you know, this is something that I would like. I'll tell you what I would like to see. I would like to see people like, I'm just going to throw out there a name, for example, like a Billy Porter or a Don Lemon. In fact, the business, I would pay money to see Billy Porter and Flame Monroe have a debate, a civilized debate on these types of discussions. Oh my God, that would be, man. I already know who my money's on as far as in that debate. I think Flame would cook his ass and make him look silly. Okay, because see, Billy Porter, one thing I'm just going to say, this is my opinion again. I believe that Billy Porter is fed most of what he goes out and espouses about the black community from his handlers who are white. I don't think he has an original thought in his head. Flame will eat his ass up, man, in an independent debate where it's just issues being discussed. Yeah, man, we need that. But that's just a couple of things I want to point out there. Let's let them get back to it.
Explain it to me to where I can understand it, because some of this stuff is even going on over my head, and I've been transgender for 33 years.
Wow.
So I don't know. Right. I don't know what they is or them. I don't understand why people. So my joke on stage is, they. Oh, now I know who they is, because since you've been a kid, your mama say, what they said about you. Oh, so that's the they.
Right.
Oh, they've been around a long time. Oh, so that's who they is.
Right.
And I say that jokingly, but I'm telling you, if it's difficult for me, who's part of the community and in the community and transgender, to understand, imagine what it's like for you, or your fiance to understand. On the outside, you don't know, you ain't even got past the titties and the penis yet. So now I'm really, I'm referred to as they, them, and those. What?
Wow.
What kind of edible you had? Please send me one. Good God.
And you know what? In Europe, because my question was, again, where are all these variations, and now everybody's focusing on pronouns. I'm like, you don't know nothing about no prepositions, no idioms, no conjunctions, and none of that. But you're saying pronouns, this. I said, where did this come from? So I looked, and turns out over in Europe, they were coming out with this 100 genders. You heard about this? 100 genders, not 2, not 12.
I thought I was messed up.
Now, what Rizza is about to mention here, this is something very important. In fact, I'm going to see if there's a way that I can go into further detail on that. It's like, with YouTube, when you start crossing into that territory, I'm familiar with it, but if I did present that on YouTube, I would have to water that down so much. So that might be something that I'll have to put on Rumble. But I'm going to see, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to see if I can present what he's about to talk about here. He's going to go into brief detail, but I would like to do a long form presentation on it. So I'll see if I can do something on that and put it on YouTube. But more than likely, it might better be safer on Rumble, though. Let's let them get back to it.
I got 2 different ones. Damn.
So
what's the other 98?
Exactly. There's a whole list, and I'm talking about this stuff is so crazy. They have something called two-spirit person, pangender. They have something called
crockpot gender.
I'm telling you,
gender.
Oh my God, it's so
Dutch
many.
oven gender. Good
Seriously,
God.
no, it might be on there. But the crazy thing is, the people who came up with that list were school teachers who interviewed 100 people. And all these different people said that they were a different gender, and they gave them this name of these different genders. So it literally came from 100 people who just made up whatever label they could, and they put that as a legitimate, gender on a list, and they came up with 100 genders.
Again, who thinks for you?
Exactly.
I teach my children to think for me. I tell my kids, my favorite movie in the whole world is The Wizard of Oz.
Wow.
Because of all the lessons in that movie. Black people, The Wizard of Oz is speaking to us.
It's a critical movie.
We are looking for a heart, a mind, and a courage just so we can get back home. Because we were taken from our home. Not by a tornado either. It was on a ship. I wasn't there, but I heard about it.
Come on.
If you get the right books, as long as you're in Florida, you can still hear about it. I said what the hell I said.
Go ahead.
But I teach them that because you got to know who you are. You got to
Yes.
think for yourself. You don't got to. And I remember, we live in a pretty affluent Caucasian neighborhood in Long Beach. All my kids' friends are pretty much Caucasian. But I always remind them, if the police pull y'all over, you the nigga in the car.
Yeah.
Don't do what they can get away with. You cannot.
That is a fact.
And I hate to say that in this 2023, I still got to teach my black children that.
Right.
That is why I say I'm still a parent. You know,
Right.
I'm still somebody, and I have to show them what I need them to know. And they like, no, it ain't like that no more. That it's damn show like that.
Yes, it
and
is.
Living Proof was last year when me and my children sat together and watched the 8 minutes and 46 seconds.
Yep.
Watch George Floyd die. I made my children watch that with me, and I shed tears like a baby. But they were like, Dad, why you crying? Why you crying? I said, because I didn't think that I would have to experience this in my lifetime.
Wow.
And let alone my children experiencing this. I thought this was done with Jim Crow in the 50s.
Right.
That they seem to be trying to bring back.
That's a fact too.
Y'all ain't paying attention.
Yeah.
You better listen. See, y'all slept on Stacey Abrams. Because what Stacey Abrams come with is facts. And she's all.
Now, this will be the portion as a black, full-blooded, foundational black American Georgian where I would definitely have to disagree with our brother Flame. Oh, no, see. But see, this is an example of, okay, how you will agree with a certain percentage of what a person says, 75, 80%. But then when it comes to that percentage that you disagree on, don't let that make you say, oh, man, just throw the other 80% out the window, man. Oh, my God. No. Because see, let me tell you how you do this, right? And see, if you look at history studying our people in Black America, there has never been a time, not just in America, actually, even around the world, there's never been a time where Black people have been 100% on the same accord. Now, if that ever happened, I couldn't even imagine what type of world that would be. Our society as a people internationally, that would be something, man. I'm just going to say it flat out, and boy, this is going to make all the white supremacists nervous. I think that would be an empire globally that would rule for time indefinite under God's law. I'll say that, okay, because he has the final say on everything. But like, we've never had a point where we just 100% agree on every single thing. And we have to be mature enough to understand, okay, people are going to have different viewpoints and different ideologies on things. But do we agree on the main common denominator thing? That's how we got to start looking at that in these different spaces, online and offline, okay? Those of you that have worked with me offline, this is how I tend to think, okay? So that's the part I just want to point out there. But hey, hold on to your hats, you know what I'm saying? He finna be doing a little bit of caping for Stacey Abrams there. Yeah, I just had to go ahead and preface you.
Always cool temperament, and she always got it done. The black woman is the most powerful woman on the powerful thing on the planet. Let me just say that. And I'm gonna tell you, if you don't believe me, 2 situations happen. Same situation, 2 different people, black man and black woman. Stacey Abrams lost the governorship in Georgia, went to the battlefield. Andrew Gilliam lost in Florida, went to the hotel room with another man. I'm just saying, life is choices. And I still like Andrew Gilliam. I still like his politics. His wife knew exactly what was going on, but because he got caught, he let his guard down. You don't even hear from him anymore. He was a great politician. That was just his thing. But we look at people sideways because everything is bad. If his wife accepted who he was and why he was the way he was with 3 kids and she was still married to him, why shouldn't we?
Critical points, very critical points. And I know, I don't know too much about his politics. I knew some of the things he was doing, which were good.
I knew a little too much after I saw him naked. I'm like, I don't need to see all that.
Yeah.
Keep your drawers on, player. Keep your drawers on.
We're going to wind this thing down in a second here because we ran through this.
You know I'm a talker. You came to see me at the show. You know I'm a talker.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Let me bring that up, too. Oh, see, look, let me say this to y'all. Just so y'all know, your brother Rizza, I'm a black man. At the end of the day, I love our people, and I do what I feel is necessary to help our people to expose the system, how it's going after us, and to provide solutions to help you to get out of it. It's really that simple. It doesn't matter what you call yourself, whether you're Republican, Democrat, you say you a black Hebrew Israelite, Nation of Islam, God on Earth, if you're a Pan-Africanist, whatever you call yourself, Christian, Muslim, none of it matters to this system. So we have to see ourselves as one people. So I say all that to say, I love comedy. I don't know why y'all think your brother's so uppity and uptight. I love comedy. Flame invited me to the show. I said, first of all, I'm in town that night. I'm showing up. And I showed up and it was hilarious. It was hilarious. All the comics who came up were hilarious. And of course, Flame was hosting and you did your thing. It was hilarious. I loved all the different, just everything, how you interact with the comics and the people. And Flame came up in a different outfit every segment. Now that was funny. I said, dang, you know what you're doing. I
was having my Diner Roast 1981 at the Music Awards moment. But you know what? With my co-host Memphis Will Rizza, what we do is, because he's a straight guy and I'm transgender, and we banter with each other. We joan on each other. We talk. I talk about his fat. He talk about me being a trans one in a fun way. It's never mean spirited.
Right.
And hopefully we're showing that we can bridge this gap. That it don't need to be us and them. We just people.
Right.
People so uptight about that, and it's so crazy. And I'm telling you, the backlash I got when I took a picture with Lil Boosie at the Breakfast Club.
Ooh.
When I tell you that, baby, they was, mind you, the interview hadn't even dropped. I just took a picture with him. So, and I know Lil Boosie's reputation. I know the things that he have said publicly. So we just happened to pop up at the same time because it was during Corona. We had to get tested, and you were one of the main people who I watched doing that. Remind me to bring that back up to you.
Absolutely.
That edible movement. And I was talking to his manager, who was clearly openly gay. Not only was his manager gay, this nigga had the feathers, the sequin cape, and the S on his chest with rhinestones. That's how gay he was.
Wow.
So all that they were saying that Boosie didn't like gays, and he was nothing could have been further from the truth. So I went to the manager. I said, "Oh, you think it'd be okay if I asked Boosie, could I take a picture?" So Boosie heard me. He said, "No, baby, you can ask me." I knew how he talked, and I wasn't sure.
Right.
So out of respect, I went to the manager. So
Absolutely.
he said, "Come on over here." So I went to put my arm around the nigga. Head only came to the left titty. He put his arm around me. He called me baby. Called me her and she. He said, "Damn, you smell good, baby." Was so respectful. So he was like, "Why you didn't go off on him?" Because I treat you the way you treat me.
Simple.
I don't demand your respect. I command your respect. You will treat.
Now that's something right there I think would go a long way with everybody. I don't care what you identify as. You treat people like you want to be treated, okay? You teach people how to treat you. The golden rule, do unto others, okay? A lot of times, a lot of our issues with one another, and you know what? Let's take it a step from dealing with orientation. But to be honest with you, if you look at the greater global Black diaspora, if we start with that simple axiom right there, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, that would alleviate a lot of problems. In fact, the business, I will tell you something that I like to do. And all of you that are on any of my platforms know that I try to do this, especially when I host Twitter Spaces. I need to go ahead and make time to host another one of those. But the next one I'm trying to host, as far as Twitter Spaces, I'm trying to figure out a way, because this is something I feel needs to be done, a way to host it at a time where we have foundational Black Americans and our own code African brothers and sisters that I know from different countries over there interacting with one another, and we just chopping it up like people, okay? And asking questions, getting clarity on certain things without ad hominems and being respectful. When you do that, that's how you really get to know your brothers and your sisters out here, okay? And get to figure out, okay, what do we have in common? What can we work on? Okay, what do we disagree on? Okay, cool. I understand that. You understand me. Sit this to the side. So I'm glad Flame brought that point up. And like I said, I just wanted to expound upon that and apply that to our situation as a whole. Because, see, if we are engaging one another in respectful conversation, constructive conversation in spaces, let me tell you something that I cultivate and try to encourage on all of my platforms. If we all gathered in like minds over here, whether we agree or disagree respectfully, and we got some jackass coming in trying to sway it towards a negative, non-constructive situation, here's another exercise that's good as far as getting on code. All of us are supposed to be like, "Hey, motherfucker, what you coming over here for? This ain't your tribe over here. Get out of here." Everybody over here, whether we agree or disagree, are on code, and you're not gonna come over here and derail that. See, that's what we got to start being as a community. We got to start thinking of our individual spaces, whether it's online, offline, as this is our house, and there are rules to the house. If you're gonna be in the house, be a guest in the house, you're gonna abide by the rules, or you're gonna get the fuck out. See, when we start moving like that towards getting tangible things done in our community, I don't care which political party we dealing with, we'll get a lot more respect then. Let's let them get back to it.
Either way I treat me, or the nigga will show up. And he right up under this hat. This hat just got hair on it.
I'm
What I
glad
tell you
brought that up.
remind me of.
And you said during that, because of Corona, you were getting tested for that. And you were watching
I had
me during the time.
133 tests before I tested positive for COVID.
Wow.
But I was refused to take the vaccine because I was, first of all, during the 80s pandemic, Dr. Fauci was the same doctor
That's
in
right.
charge of AZT.
AZT.
I went to 7 funerals in a week one time.
Wow.
Because all of my friends were taking AZT and dying.
Wow.
AIDS might have been eating them up, but the AZT took them out.
Yeah, that's
And
fact.
my sister, may she rest in peace, Tasha Thomas, say, Flame, if you ever catch it, don't never take AZT.
Wow.
And I thought he never got accountability for that. And I remember the female doctor that was working with him, and they had her locked up. They had, people forget. Black folks, we damn sure forget.
That's true.
He had her locked up because she was going to tell the truth. Because here it is, Big Pharma. The truth, the money is not in the treatment. I mean, the money is not in the cure. Money is in the treatment. If I can keep you sick and you keep paying for it, you'll be sick your whole life.
That is a fact.
But your money will never stop. It'll be like bills. They'll never stop. You be dead, the bills still come.
That's a fact.
And so I knew that. So I never trusted. And so when he was on TV, when Trump had a damn press conference every single damn day, and with Dr. Birch over there, the female doctor at the time who disappeared all of a sudden, Trump was clearly lying to our face. So it's just going to go away and woo, 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 woo. When he said that and Anthony Fauci put his hand up and started laughing, I felt like he was laughing at the American people.
Wow.
I did
That's
not
critical.
feel like he was laughing at Trump.
Wow.
He was laughing at us because he was afraid to lose his situation. He was afraid to lose his stature. But at the cost, we lost 7 million and counting people during COVID.
That's fact.
So when I watched you, I was like, I'm not taking it. It was too many warp speed.
Come on.
Overnight. I'm like, don't you cook crack in the kitchen in 13 minutes? I ain't never smoked crack, but it sounded like a crack situation.
Come on.
And maybe because I'm old school and I got a little common sense, which is missing in the world, I was like, I'm not taking this. I didn't even allow my children to take it. We were never vaccinated. I never took it. Everybody I know who has been vaccinated, who has been triple 19, 27,
Boosters.
37 boosted, keep catching COVID or have lost something even more substantial. Something is gone. One of their senses is just completely gone.
Wow.
I had an elixir, thank you, Tiffany Haddish in common, because they knew an herbal doctor here in LA. I took the elixir. I had lost my sense of taste, but I had one taste bud. It found it. Oh my God, it tasted like dog ass. But 24 hours later, I was COVID free. Now, it took me a minute to reheal and recuperate, but I was real protective. And I love that you stood on that, because when I watched you, I was like, this brother, no. And you might not have been right, but I felt right.
Absolutely.
Which was important to me. I didn't care that I lost jobs. I lost major gigs. I lost a movie with Tina Fey because I wouldn't get vaccinated.
Wow. You said you lost a lot of gigs.
I lost a lot of gigs because they wanted you to be vaccinated. It wasn't enough just to get tested and test negative. They wanted you to have the shot, the dab. I did have the shot. I invested in Moderna when it first hit at $35 a share. When I took my money out, it was $365. Ain't they getting hit in my account?
That's a fact.
I did invest in Moderna.
That's a fact. And to let you know, to give you a quick update, everything that we said was going to happen has happened. They have brought Fauci to court. They brought the former director of the CDC, Robert Redfield, to court. They asked him, they asked the former director of the CDC, do you believe that Anthony Fauci lied when he said that we did not do what is called gain of function research, where you're making a virus become more able to jump from animal to human being, to make it stronger to attack, the body of the human being. And the former director of the CDC said, yes. He said, no, I strongly know that we did invest money in that. And they say, yeah, he said, yes, I do believe he lied. Yeah. And all of it is coming out now. The scientists are coming out with it. They have banned the shots from multiple countries all over the world. Absolutely. Come on,
if you think for you,
yes.
Because I went to see the wizard. Yeah. I was so gangster by my mouth, the nigga gave me the job. I am the wizard.
Come on now.
I'm passing out brains, hearts, and courage.
Come on now.
But I just didn't. And I'm going to tell you what really got me. When they kept saying it came from monkeys, I was like, well, how many huge artists have had monkeys? Michael Jackson had Bubbles for years. He ain't never, and I'm sure Bubbles and bit the shit out of him once or twice. He ain't never come up with monkeypox. He got light skin, but he damn sure didn't come up with monkeypox. Yeah, no. It was too many things that I could look at and be like, ooh, that don't. And then it went from warp speed to biofreeze to sit in the sun to 3 days of I'm like, that's too much for me. And if it's one disease, why do we need 3 different types of shots?
That is a fact.
That was the.
So I want to take this moment right here to add this to what they're saying. You have to be very careful when you address that particular subject on YouTube. I'm surprised they let this pass, but I'm going to say this about it. And if I do choose to go into long form on what I want to say, I will do that on Rumble, where you actually speak freely without being censored by PewTube. Family, I'll tell you this like my grandparents told me. when you are faced with a life-changing decision or you're trying to do something that's going to have long-reaching consequences, never make those decisions out of fear. You take your time, collect yourself, make the decision with a clear head, okay? I'll say that about what they're saying because, see, like Brother Rizza was saying, everything that a lot of us were warning people about, especially in new black media on the grassroots out here. Remember before they instituted the new rules about, misinformation, this, that, the third, I can name channel after channel that were trying to put out different things to get our people to consider, wait a minute, before you make this medical decision, before you do it. So that's something I want to encourage everybody, especially a young person, because see, young minds are very impressionable, and any mind, when it is motivated by fear, can be led to make a decision that you cannot take back. Okay, so that applies to many things in life, not just this conversation they're having here. It's just something I wanted to put on your minds and your hearts here, but let's let it continue.
Biggest scare for me right there. And then when I watch them giving away gift cards and hundreds of dollars, I'm like, they don't give black folks in this country nothing but a hard time.
Come on.
I'm not taking that shit. I told that, I said it publicly. Got my ass handed to me too. I'm still here to tell the story.
You still here. And you know what? And let's make this very clear to all of you who took it because you were threatened with losing your job. You only had your income. We understand.
I'm not judging you.
Oh, of course not. No, of course. And we know. That's because some people thought that's how I was. And I said, no. First of all, black folk got hit when it came to being promoted to, number one, because they're used to us falling in line with the nonsense. So they were promoting that we needed the most and we're the most negatively affected. All this kind of stuff.
Oh, no, not originally. Originally, it was just like AIDS.
Absolutely.
Black folks couldn't catch it.
Right.
Because when AIDS first hit in 80 and 81, when I was in Chicago, it was, you could only catch it if you was a white man going to the bookstores and having sex in the bathhouses. I was never a bookstore or a bathhouse queen. I was a hoe and I liked alleys. So I was never going to catch it. But then all of my friends, it was like dominoes. They just started. And I was heartbroken. And Anthony Fauci, when I heard his name, I said, that's it.
Yeah. He was protested against back then. Heavily. There were large protests. I watched videos and, as a researcher, I dug deep into this thing. Anthony Fauci's face was disgusting to everybody back then. I mean, he was plastered all over the place. We can't trust him. He's killing people. And he was the main one, AZT. We should take that. And of course, they came out with the research showing that it was killing people, damaging the liver, damaging.
Let's be truthful what they said back in AZT in 81. They said AZT will kill AIDS. It did. They forgot to tell you that it kills everything in your body and then you.
That's a fact.
It wasn't even worried about the AIDS. It was shutting down pancreas, livers.
Yes.
Gallbladders, everything. I watched.
So now let's speak a particular truth about what the brother Flame and Rizza are talking about, and I'm going to try to be careful with my words, but I'm going to make it plain. During that time in the 80s, when this was happening, I'm going to tell you why they approved the AZT. If you look at that time period, and this is easily verifiable, it is true. That was something that was primarily affecting the dominant society regarding HIV and AIDS. So to show you how cruel the dominant society was, they were thinking, okay, this is something that no matter how you believe it came into existence, we're not going to get into that. There's several different reasons or thoughts behind that. But I'm directing your attention to what they came up with as the solution, okay? They said, okay, it's out of control. We have to stop this. We're losing too many numbers. What's the best way to do it? I'm going to make this simple for everybody. Since they didn't have a direct answer to it, they said, okay, well, everybody that's sick, that's got it in our community, so we can spare these other white numbers, we'll wrap some poison in some candy and make them want the candy and take it themselves. That's pretty much the self-explanatory, simple way to put that, okay? They were like, yeah, we get rid of you and we'll kill it. The problem is they weren't able to do that fast enough, okay? They weren't able to do it fast enough. And like I said, however you believe it came into existence, that's neither here nor there as far as that. Just know that when it comes to cruelty, these people know no bounds even amongst their own. And see, this is ultimately why white supremacists look very foolish, because they don't understand that the people that run this government that's at the top, the upper echelon, the 1%, they don't give a damn about them. at all. But they spend all their time hating and focusing on black people. But that's the long and the short of it right there. Like I said, I'm gonna have to do some long form content of some of this stuff with documents and things that you can look up on Rumble, because when we start getting into that territory, YouTube is like, hold up, nigga. You're not cooning and buffooning and you're not promoting anything foolish or uneducational. No, we got to go ahead and shut this whole channel down. You know, they forever trying, by the way. They shadow ban the hell out of this channel, but hey, we're gonna do what we do over here. I appreciate everybody that's gathered in attendance over here tonight. And with that said, we're gonna let this continue.
My girlfriend lose her whole stomach.
Wow.
Baby, and I've been taking AZT. She wasn't that sick until she started taking AZT. That's the truth.
Same thing with the shots now. And that's what they're seeing. This is happening all over the place. So again,
and please push that, Rizza, because I don't want people to think that I'm judging, because you took a shot. The decision was yours.
Yes.
My decision was for me not to take it.
Yes.
I don't judge you. I don't knock you. I don't want you judging me.
Of course not. No, and that's real simple. And a lot of people, they were real good with their convincing. They were real good. You
couldn't turn on the TV without it.
Oh my God, it was good. And like you were saying, the incentives, the free donuts, they were giving away. They were giving away. Okay, I'm gonna tell you how far they went with this. Since you brought this up, over in certain parts of Europe, they were giving you free 30 minutes free with a prostitute. In certain parts of Europe,
if you might not have caught COVID, but you damn sure might have caught something else.
And see, you know what, family? What Rizza just brought up with, that's something else I need to compile, because see, now that time has passed, and as I tell you all the time over here, time is one of the great revealers of all things, okay? I need to compile a list of all them different incentives they was trying to give you. Hey, you get free donuts. Hey, you want a free combo meal? Hey, man, they were just coming out the woodwork with all kind of shit. So now, think about it, family. For those of us that like to think for ourselves and actually have common sense, during my lifetime, and I'm a Gen Xer, I have never seen them promote anything like that, giving out all these different free incentives to get you to be a damn guinea pig. I've never seen it. So at that point, those of us that are the sharp knives in the drawer, we were like, whoa, wait. I'll tell you what, you go ahead first. You first, not me. I'm not doing it. Okay, and then, like the brother Flame said, whatever decision you chose to make, that's your decision. Nobody over here is going to judge you for that. But for those of us that made the decision no, because we were skeptical, that's well within our rights to make what's supposed to be our right in this country a choice. It's my choice to get it or not get it. When you start trying to tell me I gotta do it or you gonna lose your job, this, that, the third, okay, now you are becoming something far removed from a democracy, which arguably this country has never been a democracy. That is certainly a discussion for another day. But see, at that point, they really were pushing it, and they were testing the American public to see just how far can we go violating your rights as American citizens. See, white folks, while you was busy focusing on black people, we not the ones in charge that were making these decisions that cost you your jobs and what have you. And from what I've understood, there are many areas in the country where people are going back and suing because that shit was unconstitutional. So I say to anybody that you lost your job because they get your bag, man. Do not let off and go and get your money because they owe you that and then some. But like I said, I'm gonna have to definitely put together some content on that because it was just ridiculous. They was throwing everything at the wall to make it stick, and they were primarily targeting black people. In fact, I'm gonna try to upload something that I found with Dr. Fauci on it. I'm not sure if it'll stay up on YouTube. I'm gonna review it, but I'm gonna see if I can put it up on YouTube. If not, you'll definitely find it on my Rumble channel. You can find that in the description box or in the About section. I put it in the chat room a couple of times, but when y'all see that, y'all gonna be like, "Oh, damn!" I mean, it's really gonna open your eyes. But hey, let's let them continue.
I would have caught a case. Oh my God,
it was crazy. It was crazy.
And because I'm a little older, and why as people, they always say, Flame, you too old. I say, absolutely not. You're too young. You'll never know what real life is because your whole life is lived on an apparatus.
Yes.
Your whole life is on an apparatus. I know what it is to talk to people and engage with people and hang out with. I know what it is to touch and interact. They'll never know. But when I was listening to all these different components, I'm like, why are y'all just really trying to get this out? We never reached herd immunity. I knew we were never going to reach herd immunity because it was too many Republicans that was not going to take it. And I said what I said, and they were very vocal and verbal about it. So I'm like, we'll never reach herd immunity. But I just knew it wasn't for me. I've sprayed everybody with Lysol because the Lysol can say it long before Corona came out. kills coronavirus.
It did say that. And yes, I was one of the first people who brought that out, and people went crazy. And I said, wait. I said, coronavirus is an ever evolving virus. It's been around for so long, and there's different strains of it. So when people are like, yeah, I mean, that was good. It was a good point. But there was a lot going on, and they used every single way to manipulate the people, put them in fear, then incentivize them, then attack those who didn't take the incentives, then paid all the artists and celebrities, as many who would, get it. And now everybody's quiet about it. Virtually every single person.
My son, my 20-year-old son now, got a full 4-year scholarship to Tennessee State University.
Oh, that's beautiful.
For engineering. We own our place.
Oh.
He's brilliant like his dad.
Come on now.
His
there you go.
Wear dresses. And he got a full for electrical engineering.
Engineering. Wow, that's powerful.
And he graduated from Sato, graduated with his high school diploma and his associate's degree at the same time.
Wow.
Went there for one semester, made the dean's list, lived in the dean, and they told my son that they wanted him to take the vaccine in order to stay. He called me. He said, "What should I do, Dad? Pack your shit and come home."
There you go.
My son only did one semester at TSU. He is now working 2 jobs, living at home with me. He was not vaccinated, and I'm telling you right now, I don't regret it at all.
Wow.
I do not.
Wow. That's I mean, I can't express, the deepest level of respect, because again, so many people just didn't know. They genuinely did not know.
Oh, you just take me to a Harriet Tubman moment. She said, "I would have freed a lot more of my people, only if they knew they were slaves."
That's a fact.
A lot of y'all just will not understand that this country was not set up for us to ever blow up. I know you see all these millionaires, billionaires.
And see, I want to take this point to remind you all this during New Black Media Appreciation Month. This is why we all do what we do, because like the brother Rizza said is, we get tired of seeing our people just not knowing things, okay? And when you actually have a love for your people, you try to make sure that you do your part to bring the information to them that they would not otherwise have. You see what I'm saying? See, we should all have that type of compassion for one another. If I see my brother or sister does not know something and I have that information, I'll at least present it to them and they can make a decision on whether to accept or take in the information or not. That's how I think about my people that I deal with in my everyday life and even on any platform that I have. Our people have a right to know these things, because see, these demonic predators, man, they don't even look at us as human beings. But see, I'm gonna tell you something. One thing about it, no matter what they've done to us, they're going to fail, because I've said this on a previous broadcast. We are God's children. We are. Everything that you try to do to get rid of us is going to come back upon your own heads. Those in the dominant society that practice wickedness towards black people the way they have for centuries now. If they had any sense, they would stop and take a look at what's being done to them and change their wicked ways. But hey, you know what? Don't do that. Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. It's not up to black people. The Almighty is going to handle that. So with that said, we're going to let it continue.
Look like us and woo. Trust and believe. When they want to take it away, if you need one example, Kanye West. In 35 minutes, he went from a billionaire to whatever.
Come on. That's a fact. That is a fact.
Banks are failing. Are you not paying attention to what is happening in this country? Banks are failing. They're trying to take away the books that will teach you your history so you won't remember what they did to our people. Our people, because I wasn't around then. I know y'all think I was. I wasn't. Because if you whip me, I'm going to whip.
Come on.
This ain't that kind of show.
Look.
But we get so sidetracked because of the money.
Absolutely.
The fame.
Absolutely.
The power of,
yes.
I got the most followers. I got the most likes. I don't need you to like me.
Come on.
I like me.
Come on.
Boom.
There you go.
And I'm going to work because I'm talented and I'm honest. And I'm going to show up looking good and smelling good, and I'm going to do the job. I might not remember doing the job, Joe Biden, but I'm going to get the job done.
And you
y'all
do it
keep
well.
Attacking my president.
Right.
About, I don't give a damn if he's 200 years old. Y'all had one that was younger, and you see what the state the country's in right now. Joe Biden might be old and rickety, but he's doing the job. He's experienced. Sometimes.
Oh, Flame, my brother. Oh, Flame. Oh, no, I have to disagree again. I have much love and respect for this brother, for all the true details, but we don't need Joe Biden. And that doesn't mean I'm capable for Trump, because some of our people Oh, well, if you don't like Biden and you like Trump, I know I like whoever's for our people. You know, I have no permanent loyalty to either of them damn parties. At this point, the way I'm looking at it, I'm like, listen, nah, man, you got to earn that from black people. And then again, that changes. Okay, each election is like, okay, what you gonna do this time? It's not, okay, we do something for you one time and we got your vote locked in for the last 50, 60 years. We tried that before. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. So there is why I would tend to disagree. And like I said, for anybody that doesn't know it, I'm not loyal to either Democrats or Republicans. I'm not a liberal or conservative. Now, if you just want to know, okay, well, GBS, what are your particular political stances on things? I'll tell you quickly. I would be more of a conservative and I would be more center right if I was. But here's what precedes all of that. I may be center right on a lot of my viewpoints, but I am black first. So that the minute that you get to trying to give our people something that's not tangible, or if you're expecting me to turn into a Candace Owens or Larry Elder, you can hold your breath until that happens. That nah. If you ever see me get up on any platform, family, and I start cooning and buffooning, you know your brother's in trouble. I'm gonna need you to come and help me out. No, now that's gonna be pretty hard for them to do because it's not safe to try to run up on me. I will say that and leave it there. And those of you that have met me offline, you know exactly what I mean by that, especially with my background. Okay, but that's the part that I would have to disagree with our good brother Flame on. So want to make sure I put that out there so everybody knows where I stand. Let's let them continue.
Season work.
Wow. See, look.
I'll vote for him again.
Okay.
If he was 300, I'm voting for his ass.
If it's 300.
And both my names, the man and woman, we cheat.
I'm so happy that you stopped by, Flame. Let me end with this last thing here. Prisons.
Ooh.
Jail.
Ooh. I've been there, done that.
You've been there? Okay. They are now petitioning a lot of men. There's over 230 men who are petitioning, who are registered sex offenders, petitioning to be transferred to female prisons because they are saying they are a woman. They're transgender.
And that is what this new breed of transgender has done. So now anybody can throw a wig on with a full beard and say, I'm transgender. They just had a story came out earlier this year or last year of a transgender guy. This was clearly a damn man. Said he was transgender and impregnated 3 other female.
I was about to bring it up. There you go.
And so now anybody can say I'm transgender, and it is out of control because transgender used to be not an art but life. You had to live the experience. And we go back to the microwave tranny. ESPY Awards gave Caitlyn Jenner, who had been a trans woman for 18 minutes, Woman of the Year. So it made it okay, especially coming from white America.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, blacks are always the last to catch on. So we watched that and I was like, oh, it's okay. It's not okay.
Right.
It was disrespectful to women. It was disrespectful to female athletes. It was disrespectful. First of all, y'all should never get a bitch Woman of the Year because that was the ugliest dress I ever seen. I wear cute dresses. I should have got it for her. Shit. Anyway, but that is what has opened up this plethora of everything. And it is out of control.
Yes.
They had a guy on the internet who went into the women's bathroom, full beard, deep, I'm a transgender woman. And no, you're not. You put if transgender women put effort into their beauty, to their look, transgender men put effort into looking masculine. And my friend Samson McCormick, comedian Samson just did a big interview with Comedy Hype because the transgender community are now, open gay comedian for 20 years, now they're labeling him transphobic because he said, I will call you what you want me to call you, but put some effort into looking like what you want me. So if you was walking around here, saying I'm a transgender woman, I'm looking at you like this,
just like this,
I would say, nigga, if you don't knock it off, because that's not what you're giving me.
Exactly, right.
And they get angry. No, y'all have made it open to everybody. So. And respectfully for this country, they have so many bathrooms now that's all gender or no gender. Right. And I'm like old school. If it's pants or a skirt on the door, if I got to pee, the pee ain't gonna wait. Is it a toilet and a sink? Because I'm going in. I don't care who in there. But I don't go in the bathroom to cause friction. And if I had a 4-year-old daughter or son, and I'm in the women's bathroom, because when I was young, I would have to take my daughters into the women's bathroom, even with no makeup on, because they were little girls. But nobody looked at me sideways because I carry myself in a different way. Sometimes it's not about the look. Sometimes it's about the way you carry yourself.
Absolutely.
But they have made that was ridiculous. That bitch looked like the Quaker Oats man. When I saw her, I wanted a bowl of cereal. I was like, pass me the cinnamon and the sugar. Good God.
And he was in the Wheaties box when he was a track athlete.
Oh, I ain't even talking about Kayla. I'm talking about the one that was in the bathroom.
Oh, that one now. Okay.
And here's the thing: are we looking for that attention? Because with all these establishments having all gender bathroom, or go to the baby changing bathroom. You know, even if you don't have a baby, because it's one toilet, you can lock the door. Nobody has to know.
Right.
Sometimes I think we seek the attention. We're looking for the backlash so we can cause a controversy. Oh, you know, because you're gonna get 1,000 likes on YouTube or Instagram. I don't know 1,000 people. I don't give a damn about your likes. I need a check. I got kids. I don't need your likes. I need your money.
Come on. Flame Monroe. Oh, long overdue.
Rizza,
Please.
I'm so glad you're back. I'm so glad that you stood your guns.
Thank you.
You stayed on. You stood in your man.
Absolutely.
And that's not manhood. You stood in your man, just like I watch women stand in their women. And a lot of people miss what I be saying about that. That ain't got nothing to do with gender. That's who you are.
Yes.
You stood on that because you knew that you were right. I don't fear nothing when I'm right. When I feel like I'm right, I fear nothing.
That's right.
But if I'm wrong, I'm not too big to apologize.
Absolutely.
And if you want to teach me, then you talk to me respectfully to teach me, because I'm willing to learn.
Absolutely.
But if you talk to me crazy, you do not know crazy like Flame Monroe. And if you want to see crazy, you can catch me every Monday at Free Voices at the Hollywood Laugh Factory.
There you go.
March 31st through April 1st, I will be at Tommy T's in Pleasanton, California. Get your tickets at the website or go to my Instagram page at Monroe Flame. And May 4th through 6th, Cinco de Mayo, I will be in Yonkers, New York at Yonkers Comedy Club getting drunk with all the Latinos, baby. Get your tickets on the website. We're going to have a great time. If you have a weak constitution, if you're easily offended, please don't come to my shows.
Come on.
Because I do not care about your feelings.
I have been there, and yes, absolutely. It will be honored just like that.
And it's truth to power. We laugh.
Yes.
I may say some of the harshest things, but I always close it with a funny because it's easier to receive.
That's fact.
It's kind of like the virgin effect. When you want to break a virginity, you slap her first, and it kind of distracts. You know, kind of like what the country doing to y'all now. It's distraction. Pay attention to the infrastructure.
That's right. 6
train derailments with chemicals that will wipe out neighborhoods and towns.
Come on.
In 4 months. Or 3 months. Please play airplanes, the blank boards going blank. Y'all wonder whether they got enough infrastructure. Hear me and hear me well. I love that Biden is standing for Ukraine because I think that Ukraine's president is a gangster. But if Ukraine get in bed with China, because what y'all keep forgetting is Biden is trying to repair allies that Trump broke. He made a lot of people run from America. We are actually sitting ducks right now. Because if 2 different people get together, and when they keep hollering nuclear, when they holler nuclear, they trying to raise prices. Because everybody knows if one country shoot a nuke, everybody has to shoot nukes.
That's fact.
So that's just the truth. Please do your research. Read, people. Just read. Just research. You know, the Google that fucked up the research.
That's
I'm
true.
old school. We had to get encyclopedias.
That's
you had
right.
to go
Books.
carry all the books from one.
Yes.
And you know, we was poor, so we only had like A through M. And we had to borrow the other ones from the neighbors.
Right.
But people don't research. They go to Google. Google
Yes.
will tell you. Google is set up by the government.
Absolutely.
Government wants you to know what they want you to know.
That's why we use DuckDuckGo over here.
I'm just letting y'all know.
That's a fact. Flame Monroe, y'all. Make sure.
Thank you.
Yes.
Please understand, ladies and gentlemen, this is a trans woman speaking to a Muslim brother. I understand the misunderstandings, and I'm trying to teach my brother that what he does not understand about a trans woman, that it's just, I'm just a trans woman that's fair. I'm just talking to you. I know everybody won't have, now you won't have this conversation with every other trans woman.
I believe so.
But
I believe.
Hopefully you will be able to understand the next one, even if she thinks different from me, just a little bit easier. I hope I made that easier.
Absolutely. This is beautiful. I pray this was beneficial to everybody who watched, because I know for a fact it was beneficial to me. And of course, y'all go ahead and follow Flame on every single platform. Hopefully it will stay up after this. And I think I'm just glad I know it will.
And season 3 of Laughing Learn has started with under the Black Effect Network on iHeart, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to your podcast. I'm on my 3rd season of Laugh and Learn. Politics, hodgepodge, come and get it. If you don't want the real, don't come.
Come on now, you already know what this is. Rizza Islam Intellectual Extremist Podcast, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Boom.
Bam.
One to twin powers, the
So there you have it, family. I hope that, as they said, I hope everybody was able to gain something constructive from that conversation. And I hope you will use it as a template, not only just for engaging with brothers and sisters in the LGBTQ community that are respectful of you, be respectful of them. I hope you will apply that method of communicating with our people across the board, okay? I think that was a very excellent example of how people can be from different worlds, different backgrounds. You have Brother Rizza Islam, who is a well-known, devout Muslim brother, okay, in the Nation of Islam and captain in the FOI, if I'm not mistaken. And you have Flame Monroe, a transgender comedian, okay? Had a full conversation, no ad hominems, nothing disrespectful. Everything was discussed in this interview. And I think it's an excellent teaching tool. That's why I tried to bring it over here to you all tonight. So we're going to go ahead and close the broadcast. And as usual, I'd like to encourage you to come to the Foundational Black American Expo, going to be held in the city of Dallas, the state of Texas, May 27, 2023. Going to be empowerment workshops, panels. Still plenty of time to become a food vendor at FBAexpo.com. That's FBAexpo.com. And it's going to be held at the beautiful Black-owned Black Academy of Arts and Letters. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap it up here. Salute to everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you all in future content.